Yet again, the Star Wars fans are outraged. We as a fandom are upset at Lucasfilm, this time because they went too far, because they made a rock?
Have you seen Star Wars?
So if you don't know, this past week, there's been a lot of hoopla over this character in one of the new Star Wars books. It's from the High Republic series, it's the second one, it's called Into the Dark, and there's a character in the book named Geode, and Geode is a rock. That's literally the character, it is just a rock, and I think Lucasfilm put out a video, like a character video that they've been putting out for all the new High Republic characters on their YouTube channel, and I think there was a big ratio on it. There were so many dislikes on the video, and then a lot of people in the Star Wars community started making reactionary videos to this, talking about Geode the Rock, and being genuinely upset that this is a character that we're having to talk about in the Star Wars universe, which I somewhat understand. I've been reading Into the Dark. I have a feeling that a lot of people who are upset about this rock have not been reading the book, and I'm not saying that to mean that their opinion on it is invalid, because your complaints are valid. I believe me. I understand why you would be upset about the situation of a rock being a character in the Star Wars universe. The main problem I feel like people are having with this is that it feels a little bit uninspired. Lack of creativity, scraping the bottom of the barrel is something I would imagine to hear a lot of. Reading the book, Geode is just kind of a joke. I think he's a failed attempt at a joke, where the pilot, he's supposed to look like Matthew McConaughey, so I just call him Matthew the entire time I'm reading the book. But him and his co-pilot, Affy, they have this rock as like another co-pilot, as a passenger and kind of a crew member on the vessel, which is the name of their ship, which is also kind of, I wouldn't say tongue-in-cheek, but just, yet again, unimaginative. They're on a vessel that's called the Vessel, you know? Like, they even point out the kind of joke aspect of Geode and calling the ship the Vessel, and they point out all the stuff in the actual book, Into the Dark. All the Jedi characters look at the rock and go, it's just a rock. And then I think later on in the book, you realize it's like a sentient alien and whatnot, and it, you know, the Force can be in everything kind of situation. I feel like for a lot of us, though, this is just kind of bland and boring. This isn't something that when you make a Star Wars story, when you make a Star Wars character, you don't go, well, why don't we make a rock? Like, I guess it's funny in the sense that you are making a character that's a rock, but it's one of those things where it's not funny, and therefore it's bad. You know, like, I understand the joke you were trying to get, it just didn't land. It's like boomer humor, you know, it's jokes that you expected from 50 years ago. And it's not that it's outdated, it just wasn't that original and wasn't that smart, and you would expect for mainly a big book like this, the second book to the High Republic, at least when it comes to like the adult novels, the second book in that story, one of the main characters is a rock. Now, I've been reading Into the Dark. I would love to put out a review for it. I'm in the middle of it, and the middle of it seems to be kind of the slow part, and so I haven't really been keeping the same pace with the book. So I know a lot about Geode as a rock, but I've never had a vested interest in him as a character. But a lot of fans feel like this is where we're at with Star Wars, that we are at this point where we're making characters out of rocks, and it's just kind of showing the lack of creativity, the lack of imagination over there at Lucasfilm. I don't know if I agree with that entirely. I do agree that this was a bad character, that this was a bad idea to make Geode, a rock, a character. I do think we're getting a little bit too upset over this, but I also think it's kind of a fair criticism. It's not like we're boycotting Lucasfilm or we're saying we gotta destroy the High Republic, but a lot of people are saying, you know, this is really stupid. And when you have this new era, you have all these new storylines to follow in the High Republic, you want to have interesting characters, and I feel like we had that with the first book, Light of the Jedi. There's a lot of interesting characters in terms of Jedi, in terms of people who weren't even Jedi, in those books that I found interesting. When I look at Into the Dark, when I look at Geode, the Rock, I'm not going to go, that's an interesting character. This isn't a character I want to talk about, write home about. This was a bad attempt at a joke, and I think Lucasfilm would have taken the Rock out of the book. If we keep this rock in, if we take this rock out, I don't think it's going to change the story at all. I don't know why anyone over there at Lucasfilm didn't look at this and go, hey, this was funny, but maybe we shouldn't put this in a book, or maybe this should be in one of the younger books, or just don't put it in at all, because it's a rock in the Star Wars universe. I get the joke, but it's not a funny one, and I really feel like these kind of situations are where people are getting upset with Star Wars in terms of storytelling, where it really feels like a lot of these creators in the Star Wars universe, these storytellers, these writers, you name it, when they look at something that's kind of daring to be bold in the Star Wars universe, when it's a new era, when it's something that hasn't ever been talked about in the Star Wars universe, they get scared, and so they want to go to something that's a little safe, something that's easier, and I guess this is a safe route to go, and that is making a rock. A rock character in the Star Wars universe. Not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, just a rock named Geode. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you been reading Into the Dark? Have you gotten to the part learning about Geode? What are your thoughts on this character being a rock, or a rock being a character in the Star Wars universe? Do you think this is a bad attempt at a joke? Do you think the character itself is a joke? I just want to hear your thoughts on a character that is a rock in Star Wars. This is where we've come to with Star Wars, my friends. Thank you all for watching, though. If you like this video, please give it a like or a comment, because it does about the channel. If you enjoy Star Wars Only, become an Only fan and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the latest news in Star Wars. Thank you all for watching. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.